Hello, my name is Hussein Nuruddin and I'm presenting the bridge pattern. To begin with, design patterns were found as a solution to commonly occurring problems, and my presentation will be talking about the bridge pattern, which is one of the structural design patterns that focuses on how objects are composed relative to each other. First, let's start with the intent. Separate the abstraction from its implementation so that there will be no dependency between their variations means that it proposes refactoring this exponential explosive inheritance hierarchy into two orthogonal hierarchies, one for platform independent abstractions and the other for platform dependent implementations. So beyond having encapsulation, it also achieves insulation. Motivation. Since inheritance binds an implementation to the abstraction permanently, making them dependent on each other, the bridge pattern resolves the dependency and make it easier to modify, extend, and reuse abstractions and implementations independently. This implies that using the bridge pattern will make the design more flexible than inheritance. The bridge pattern also provides the client an interaction with the interface without committing to a concrete implementation, means that the client should not worry about what platform it is dealing with. It should instantiate objects without knowing to which platform this object belongs to. Structure. The first participant in the bridge pattern is abstraction, which defines the abstraction interface. Also, means a reference to an object of type implementer. The second participant is refined abstraction, which extends the interface defined by abstraction. Third participant is defines the interface for implementation classes. This interface doesn't have to correspond exactly to abstraction interface, and they can be different. Fourth participant is a concrete implementer, which implements the implementer interface and defines its concrete implementations. Typically, the implementer provides primitive operations, and abstractions defines higher level operations based on these primitives, which also forwards client requests to the implementer objects. Consequences. The bridge design mechanisms encapsulates an implementation class inside an interface class. It's used to decompose complex abstractions into simpler and manageable classes. Using the bridge pattern, the implementation should not be bounded permanently to an interface with interface implementation will be determined dynamically at runtime. Also, the implementation could be changed at runtime for previously created objects. Application of bridge patterns. The bridge pattern is very important design pattern. It's commonly used in industry as it is an easy way to simplify classes by separating the low-level logic implementation from the high-level definition of a class, which is usually abstracted and inherited. Example. So now we have the operator system. We have three different operator system, which is Windows system, Ubuntu system, iOS system. We have that each system trying to create a text box. We see here, it's nice, it's easy UML. But what if we want to add to each operating system to create something else? For example, a button and a panel. Do you imagine how the UML is going to be look like? Let's take a look. So now we have so much of classes, like repetition classes from each of the textbooks, text box, and panel, and button. Each class has been repeated 3 times, which would make it harder. If you want to code it, it's going to be hard to read the codes and it's hard to understand it because everything is going to be repeated. You have to have a different names. You have to have a lot of things which is make it harder. So here we have all the design patterns. Here we can see that the bridge pattern is located under the structural classifications. Bridge pattern decouples an abstraction form its implementation so that the two can vary independently. So if we use the bridge pattern to make it look better and easier, how the UML is going to be looking like? Let's take a look. Here we go. So we will have the abstraction class, which is the operator system. Then we will have the refined abstractions classes, which is the Windows sys, Ubuntu sys, and iOS sys. And we will have the implementer, which is the shape. And we will have the concrete implementer, which is the bond class, the textbox class, and the panel class. Let's go for the demo right now. So that's the code. I'm just gonna walk you through the code a little bit. So we have the operator system, which is the abstraction with one function with 2 parameters. Now we will have a 3 refined abstractions classes, which is inherited from the operation system, which is gonna be the Windows sys, Ubuntu sys, and iOS sys. And all what they're gonna do is having one function, which is the operator shape, which is gonna pops out the sentence on the console. Also, we're gonna create the shape, which is the implementer, and we're gonna inherit the concrete implementers from the shape, as we see the bond, a panel, and a text box. In the main program, we're just gonna be creating the objects and calling them. So if we just run the program, we're gonna see window operator system to create bond with a green color, window operator system to create panel with gray color, window operator system to create text box with red color, iOS operator system to create bond with green color, iOS operator system to create panel with gray color, iOS operator system to create text box with red color, and same for Ubuntu. That's everything for the demo. We can see the build, rebuild solution, success, 0 failed. So it's building right. It's very nice. It's very organized and easy to read. You can see the flow of the classes without getting confused. Just imagine if we have to repeat the bond class, the panel class, and the text box class 3 times each one. So it's gonna be like having just 9 classes just for the same classes. That's the beneficial of a bridge pattern design. And those the references. It's all the references that we use. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one.